call upon the panelists to take their seats on the presidium. Ms. Nafisa Shah, who's the sitting MNA, and who's the former General Secretary of the Women's Parliamentary Caucus in the National. Ms. Bushra Gohar, who's the former parliamentarian and a very, very active former member of Women's Parliamentary Caucus. Ms. Aasiya Nasir, she is again a very, very active, still is a member of
I will very briefly go to the basics, which is that women's political participation is an essential element of a thriving democracy, of a polity, of democratic governance in a country. There has been a very rich debate around the world, which many of the participants have been a part of, about whether or not the quotas are useful for bringing up women's women's participation in political platforms. I will ask Ms. Nafisa Shah to kindly not only tell us about the significance of the bill, what is contained in the bill. I have a copy, and it has three, I can see it's, three very important components. What is the significance of this? What will be the implications? And what has been the process?
How do we ensure meaningful representation of women in politics? Obviously, the given fact is that 50% of the voters are women. Many political workers are there when it comes to getting women out, making them vote. So on the ground also, there's a very large presence of women political workers, often unsung, unrecognized, at the sides. Argument is that women, the presence of women itself is a change maker. And the whole debate about Pakistan or Pakistan's constitution itself talks of affirmative action for women, to make women participate in public life.
Ms. Munaza Hassan is here. Please welcome her. I'll now invite Ms. Bushra Gohar to share her views and especially talk about the kind of hurdles this bill had to have.
Since I was appearing before the standing committee, they asked me to go and sit with the Secretary Law to improve the bill. And the Secretary Law was pretty good. He also helped out. He cleaned it up. He worked with us. And then I sent it back to the standing committee and asked the standing committee's chair to bring it to the assembly. And the last I heard was they lost all the whole file. And so they were looking for the file, and that is when, and so we were pursuing it. We had worked quite a lot on it. Whether they didn't want to send it back, I mean, it's always not very clear what happens to the bills. Women in the parliament generally have to justify their existence all the time. Within the party also, I mean, it's not very easy. They have to constantly get the support of the party leadership, the party members, and also within the parliament they have to struggle.
I'll now invite Ms. Aasiya Nasir, whose contribution has been really, really important.
Here in countries like Pakistan, to ensure the representation of the underdeveloped communities and depressed classes, it's very important to have quotas. And the representation in the parliament, I must say what Nafisa said, that not only in numbers, but it has been very meaningful, the participation of women in the parliament, because my experience of last 12 or 13 years with the women access to the parliament and then access to the mic, to leading the business of the house, and most of the times women participation was more than 70% in the parliament, and but still we were put to more sheer criticism by our counterparts, and we were asked questions which the men were never asked, that what you women are here and what you women do here, what you women has to do if with the agriculture sector, why how many bills you women have has bought in for particularly for women. These questions were never asked from our male counterparts. Another thing I must say here, that women is visible in Pakistan everywhere, but not at the topmost decision-making level. This is what we are wanting for, that we not only want to ourselves to be at the policy making or all the other jobs, but we want to be very visible and participate fully in the decision-making process, since we are 50% of the population, and no nation can progress by keeping their 50% population inside their houses.
A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Munaza.
ये बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि कंसेंसस डेवलप होना चाहिए, ना सिर्फ पार्टीज़ के बीच में, बल्कि सब लोगों को आइडिया होना चाहिए, ख़वातीन को, कि ये किस किस्म का बिल आ रहा है. पाकिस्तान, जैसे इन्होंने मेरा तारुफ़ कराया, पाकिस्तान तहरीक इंसाफ से मेरा ताल्लुक़ है, और तहरीक इंसाफ ने अपने पहले इलेक्शन, जिस जनरल इलेक्शन में हम अब की बार जा रहे थे, ऑलरेडी डिसाइड किया हुआ था कि 10% सीट्स, जनरल सीट्स ख़वातीन को दी जाएंगी और 25% यूथ को दी जाएंगी. सो यूथ में ऑब्वियसली ख़वातीन भी आती हैं. एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं होती, उन जगहों पे ख़वातीन को दें, क्योंकि वो भी एक चैलेंज है. ना सिर्फ ये कह देना कि जी विनिंग सीट्स ख़वातीन को दी जाएं. मैं समझती हूँ कि ख़वातीन को अब अपने में कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए कि वो सीट विन कर सकती हैं, तभी वो जनरल इलेक्शन में जाती हैं, और उनको अपने आप में कॉन्फिडेंस ये होना चाहिए.
ओपन टू द हाउस नाउ. आपके कमेंट्स और कोई नया इशू अगर आप फ्लैग करना चाहें.
I could not have joined politics if my party did not have a women wing. And when I joined PTI, my whole family condemned me, my maternal family and my in-laws. But I just took a stand because I knew that I was in a women's area and that I felt safe there.
10% though, I feel that probably because it seems that there was consensus, and because civil society was also engaged in political party leadership and they agreed. But what do you think in terms of 33% representation which you are proposing at the decision making level within the party? Do you think that they will agree to that as well? And we should still not forget about, like, as if this reserve seats, the एक bill I would suggest और आपसे request करूँगी कि एक और bill भी move होना चाहिए कि ये जो reserve seats हैं, I think the reserve seats का number has to be increased to 33%, and the modality is very, very important.
Thank you. I think that's I'll talk about the last question, because I think that's really, really critical. My colleague here said that, women have to be ready. Maybe are we ready to contest elections? I personally think that, as you said, it is the political parties. And if the political party system is strong, it's a political party and that's how the voter behaves. It's either the political party wins or political party loses. That is the first consideration. The 10% quota, I think the vision was कि we said कि ये 17% को तो हम हाथ नहीं लगाने देंगे, इसको तो हम बैठ कर गार्ड करेंगे ना, हम सब आगे खड़े हुए. इस पे हालांकि there were some parliamentarians who were compromising and say अच्छा तो ये हम आपको 10% दे दें तो आप वो छोड़ दें, क्योंकि वहाँ से तो ये ख़वातीन ऐसे आ रहे हैं और अपने लोग फेवरेट्स को लेके आ रहे हैं और वो political work, all kinds of funny arguments. But there's this agreement कि ये 17% तो we'll guard like anything. We are not going to let anyone touch these seats.
Regarding the 10%, I think more thought needs to go into the 10%, because if you do get it through, it's going to be a one-time opportunity you have. So you need to think, you gave the example of the Labour Party earlier. In the early 90s, when the Labour Party initially started, what they did was they short-selected women on every constituency. So you actually need a push for those women to come board. So in that sense, you do need that quota system of types to get that woman out on the street. Otherwise, she's never going to be on the street otherwise.
Yes, thank you. Good point. We'll get the answers. We'll take a couple of questions then. Please, आपके पीछे.
My name is Lokhez Ali. I'm a researcher at NAST. It's a very important topic, and we have to talk about, like, अगर औरतों को आप involve नहीं करेंगे, we're putting them behind. 50% of them population हम पीछे रख रहे हैं. It has to contribute to GDP as well. It has to contribute in putting themselves voting and everything else. But rather than like just increasing the percentage, you have to improve the selection criteria. जैसे BA आपने एक normal के लिए रख लिया, तो you have to put the doctors or the MS masters people over there for the women selected seats, who are actually going to contribute, who are going to give better ways, better suggestions. तो क्या आपका कोई ऐसा criteria भी बनाएंगे आप जैसे economists होने चाहिए, different people from agricultural fields से आनी चाहिए? Do you have some criteria with that, or you just saying increase the number?
हमने already इस चीज़ पर भी अपनी इस constitution review की है, उसमें जो आपका suggestion है वो हमने डाली है, and hopefully the party leadership will agree to that.
Thank you all for having us. Thank you.